In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make high converting Facebook ads using 100% AI generated clips. Now, I've spent millions of dollars on Facebook ads over the years, and video ads are hands down the most profitable ads we have ever created. Just last week, we launched a new lead gen campaign for a client of ours with 100% AI generated video, and it is outperforming the old campaign by cutting our cost per qualified lead nearly in half. Here's actually a quick preview of one of the ads that we made.
And Tuesdays and Wednesdays are killing me. We're basically paying staff to sit around with 0 customers.
That sounds rough. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we build those ads step by step and how you can do it too. So we're going to break this whole process down into 5 steps here. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do each one of these. But really the first thing we want to do is actually just go find other ads that are working. I think that's a really important place to start. I'll show you exactly how we do it and why. And then we're going to come up with a hypothesis. So like what is our ad hypothesis for what we think is going to convert? Then we're going to actually script and storyboard everything. We're going to generate the clips and we're going to edit it. And again, I'm going to walk you through all of this here in just a second. That very first part of swiping. So this is what I find is the most like inspiring and best place to start is we actually just want to go look at what's already working and what are some video ads that we can find that we can model. So I love using this tool here called Foreplay. Like this tool has been a go-to tool for me for a really long time. I just have a giant swipe file of like ads that I see that I really like. You can see I've got tons of different things here. But what this tool does is think about it like the Facebook ad library, except instead of showing you the ads that are active, you can actually go on here and look at any different brand, all the ads that they've ever ran. You can also look at how long they've been running an ad. So we can sort by what ads are the longest running. We can even filter by if that ad is active. And this is really good because people don't tend to spend a lot of money on ads that aren't working. So like this ad that he's been running for 238 days, we can assume that this is probably a pretty good video script. It's a 50-second video script. We can actually come in here. We can look at the transcript and we can get the exact transcript for this video. We can save this to our swipe file. So, later if we want to come back and look at this, we can pull this into our own swipe file. And again, you can see here, I just have this giant swipe file of all kinds of ads that I have found that I think are great for like info and lead gen and all kinds of stuff. And so again, I can come through here, I can get inspired, I can look at other ads that people are running. I can actually jump in and see the exact scripts for those ads so I can start to see like how those were written. And this is where I can start to get some like inspiration on stuff that I see working, stuff that I can have proof that's working. Because like, again, this ad's been running for 66 days. Most ads don't run for 66 days if they're not working. So I can see what's working and I can grab that script, which is going to be super helpful coming up. So this is just a process where I will just spend 20, 30, 40 minutes just going through and looking at all the different ads. When I find a brand that I like, I will always come up here and I will sort by longest running. I will filter that down by what is still currently active. And I will start to look at like, what are their longest running best ads that they've had? Again, this one's been running for 355 days. Why is this ad working so well? How long is it? What is the script breakdown? What elements are they using? I really like to try to look at these and digest these. And I also find, again, this is the most inspiring place to start because I'm not looking at a blank piece of paper. I'm actually looking at ads that are working and getting an idea for like, oh, I really like this ad. How could I do this for us? What could I think about next? So after we've done some swiping and I have come up with some ideas and started to get the gears turning for what kind of script could we use? What kind of framework could we use for our ads? The next thing I like to do is come up with our ad hypothesis. And this part is really important. So one thing that we don't want to do is just take a winning ad and throw it into an AI tool and say hey, rewrite this ad for my brand. Because there's so many different ways that could be written and AI is just going to make something up. And what we really want to do is make sure we have a good hypothesis so we can go through a testing process to figure out what is the messaging that is going to work in our market. Again, your messaging is always the tip of the spear when it comes to how you get people's attention and how you communicate with people in your market. It's the very first thing they experience is your messaging. So we really want to make sure we dial that in and we have a process to test that. So the way that we come up with our ad hypothesis is it's really 3 parts. There's a who. So it is what is the very specific avatar you are speaking to? Not someone broad, hey, I'm talking to women between the ages of 35 and 55. But no, who is the specific person you are talking to? What is the situations they're in? What are the problems that they have? What are their desires? All of this stuff you want to get really, really clear about. What are the different emotional triggers they have? What motivates them? All of that stuff is really, really good to break down. And we can use AI to do a lot of this research. I've got some other videos. I'll drop a link, I think in this corner up here about like some ways we can use AI to help us do research, but we really want to get clear on your avatar, who the person is. A lot of brands might have like 1, 2, 3 avatars that they might speak to. Again, if you have been selling for any period of time, you probably have a general idea of like, oh yeah, I have these 2 or 3 different avatars that we typically tend to speak to. So in our ad, we want to get really clear on who is the one avatar we're speaking to for that ad. Then we want to get really clear on like, what are their pains or problems that we could speak to in the ads? And then what is their ultimate desire? Like, what is the thing that they want to get out of? Like, what is the thing that they want to get in life? Or why would be the thing that they are, choosing to use our product or pay attention to our ad at all? And then the very last one is this stage of awareness. And again, I'll drop another video that I have about this stage of awareness, but this is like a really, kind of like nerdy marketing term in terms of like trying to describe what point of the customer journey is this person at. So this person may have a problem, but they've never really looked into different potential solutions or what products are out there or all that stuff. Or this same person might be a little bit further in the buying journey and they've got a problem, but they're also looking at products, starting to compare products and deciding where these different products are at. And so we want to be clear about like what stage of awareness that person is at. And one of the tips that we always have is like, if you will start with people who are further down in that buying journey and just speak to those people, your ads will typically be more profitable from the very beginning. So what we want to do is decide what this is. And oftentimes this just looks like us writing out on a piece of paper, like, hey, we are speaking to this avatar. Right now we want to address this particular pain point or this particular outcome that they want to get. And they're at this stage of awareness. So, it's like this person, this pain point or desire, and then like they're at the solution aware. That's, how we would kind of map this out. Once we have a few of those, so we've decided like, okay, we've got one specific avatar. Maybe we've got a couple different pain points or a couple of different outcomes and desires that we want to speak to, and we've got one stage of awareness. That becomes our ad hypothesis. So anything we do for one video script becomes that one hypothesis. And this becomes really helpful because then as we are launching ads inside the account, which I'll show you here in just a second, and as we are writing copy, we know to always stick to this thing. And then what we can do is test different hypotheses against each other. So can we talk to a different avatar and get a better response there? Or can we speak to a different pain point or a different desire and get a better get a better response there? Can we speak to a different stage of awareness and get a better response there? So these are the different ways that we have been thinking about this. But so once we come up with this, then what we will do is we will want to ultimately come up with a video that has multiple hooks, usually one body, and then we can test a couple different CTAs at the end. This is the most important part of your ad because this is the thing that is going to stop and get someone's attention and get them to stop scrolling and watch anything else. If the hook doesn't hit, none of this other stuff will hit. So it's really important that we want to test multiple hooks. We will use that body script of one of the ads that we really found that we like. Because if you broke that ad down into a framework, you would probably see like, oh yeah, these ads that I really like have this pretty standard framework of like, there's a hook and then they address a mistake that people have. And then they give people a new way to think about this mistake that people are making and give them the correct solution. And then there's a call to action. It's like a pretty standard, and that's like a 45-second ad. So it'd be like, okay, cool. We want to write an ad like that, but we're going to do, 3, 5 different hooks. We're going to use that same kind of framework on the body. We're going to tell people the mistake we're making. Then we're going to help them correct that mistake, give them a new way to think about it. Then we're going to have a call to action at the end. And then those will be the ads that we create. So that's what these ads ultimately look like. Now, this is the part that I find that we really don't want to outsource. We can definitely use AI to help us like come up with these. But again, I think one of the big mistakes that people make when I see people doing them, and this is just through a bunch of me constantly using AI every day as well, is like if I swipe an ad and then I just go to AI and I'm like, hey, rewrite this ad for my brand. The quality usually is very high, and also it's hard to come up with like a real serious testing process to figure out like what messaging is working better. But if I will swipe some ads, so I have some frameworks and I start to get inspired and I start to get some gears turning, and then I come up with these hypotheses. I'm like, okay, who is the specific avatar? What are the pain points and desires that we want to speak to in our ads? And then what is the stage of awareness? And I come up with a few of these. Maybe I come up with 2 or 3 of these. And now using this, like if I've got 2 or 3 of these, and I've got a few this is 6 ads right here. So it's like, cool, 2 or 3 of these. Now I've got 18 different videos I could be testing. And after I've tested those 18 different videos, I could come back and tell you like, yeah, this hypothesis worked way better than the other ones. And of that hypothesis, this worked way better than other ones. And so now I'm onto something in terms of like how my testing process is going. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope that's really clear. Now getting into like actually scripting out these ads. Scripting them is where we can really leverage AI. So what I have found is I do most of my like copywriting or anything that's like written with Claude right now. And I really like using Claude projects. So I come in here, I make a project, I give it a base set of instructions, and then I typically load up quite a bit of information as like a knowledge base. I do try to find, like one thing I found is like, we don't want to overload it with information because, you know, I've tried just like throwing tons of stuff in there and having a different, you know, like one project for all things writing. And then it starts to get things really mixed up. So what I found is like I have one project per very particular type of writing that we're doing. So this one is made for video scripts. I might have a different one exactly for email. I might have another one that's exactly for like organic captions for Instagram posts. I might have one that's specific for YouTube videos, like whatever that is. But I usually give it the same two types of content as backup. It's like, one is like specific references about the brand itself. So like, you know, some tone of voice references, the avatar, the offers, all of that stuff. And then another one is like some more informational stuff. So this one you can see here, I've got like something about how to write hooks. I had that one that was about like prompts for creating Sora prompts and how it can do that. That's the masterclass one. This one is like a copywriting framework, but over here I've got like, this is like marketing beliefs. So you can see that really the two categories here. This is about the avatar. So the two categories here is like, there's information specific to the brand and what we're writing about. And then there's information specific to how to write copy for this style of copy, which in this case is like video ad scripts. So I've got some stuff in there about like frameworks for video ad scripts, frameworks for hooks, all of that stuff. Once I have this and like a base prompt in here, the nice thing about it is now it's got all the information and the training that it needs. So I just need to come in here and talk with it. Like I don't have to come up with some super crazy mega prompt. I can almost just come in here and rant with it like I would, you know, if I was like brainstorming with a colleague on how I wanted to get somewhere. And what you can see is I can come up with some pretty decent ad scripts in a pretty short period of time. One other tip is, I also like talking with it. So Claude, for whatever reason on Claude, like I haven't been able to figure out how to just have like a native, you know, like listen to me talk sort of thing. So I use Chrome. There's this extension. You can get it. It's just like a audio dictator or whatever. So I can click it in here and be like, hey, okay, today we're going to start writing some ad script.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so here we are. We are about 10 minutes after I started that first prompt. And what you can see is I just had a conversation with this using this framework. So guiding it through this framework of like, okay, let's just start with where we're at. You know, it kind of gives me a whole blurb here about everything that it knows. And I say, great, okay, now we want to get really clear on who we're writing to and what is the specific pain points that they have and what is the specific like stage of awareness that they're at. And so I wrote this, you know, I just talked out this little thing and it got really clear on who we're talking to, what is their main pain point, what is their ultimate desire, what is their stage of awareness. And I'm like, great. Okay, now I'm going to give you this winning ad script. And I just want you to stick close to this winning ad script. We're going to use our call to action. In this case, we're actually just going to write a video script for this video right here. So we're just going to make a video for this video, promoting this video. But it's like, hey, I want you to promote this thing. So don't get confused and promote their thing. I want you to promote my thing. But we want you to follow this general framework that we just gave in our ad hypothesis. So that's going to be really good. And it just broke it down and it was like, hey, do you want me to outline it or write the full script? And I was like, outlining it sounds good because then I can tell you if I like it or I don't like it. And that was good because it did this credibility thing. And like, this is one little kind of trick that I've seen with these is like, I find it really weird if we try to recreate ourselves with AI, especially for like online experts, people doing lead gen, stuff like that. It's like, it's weird if you try to AI yourself. I think that's strange. But if I have a third party that's just like a spokesperson, like just like UGC content, right? It's just like someone else is a third party talking about my offer, my brand, whatever it is, my YouTube video. And that doesn't come off as weird. So I just, asked it to swap out this credibility part for like using credibility of video ads themselves. Okay, cool. And then I was like, great. So I like the script. I think this came out really good. Like imagine this is a video script. Like video ads are hands down the best way to attract high ticket clients. They outperform static images by 3 times or more. So if you're selling this stuff and you're not doing video ads, you're leaving serious money on the table. The secret most people miss is you don't have to get on camera to make video ads, because AI can now create that stuff at a fraction of the time, and they convert just as well, sometimes even better. And so most people think if you're not willing to get on camera, you're stuck running image ads that don't perform as well. Or they think that AI ads look cheap and robotic and won't work. But that's not true if you don't know. That's only true if you don't know how to use the right tools. There's actually a free YouTube video that shows you how to break down creating AI ads to book high ticket clients. So, I mean, yeah, make a few little tweaks of this, but this is not a bad video ad right here. And I was like, great, let's come up with some hooks. Just came up with a bunch of hooks. I said, oh, this is pretty cool. Can you just write all the Sora prompts for these hooks? And it just gave me all the hooks. So now I have 10 different hooks and a video script that I can get started with, and I can go plug that into these AI tools that I'm going to show you next to actually start generating this stuff. So again, about 10 minutes of work, and this is just kind of a demo. Of course, if we were doing like a real video ad for an offer, we could spend more than 10 minutes on it, because that would be really worthwhile. And I'm going to show you some examples here in just a second too. But hopefully you can see, like, just Claude. Again, I like dictating conversationally through this. I think the biggest thing is like, yeah, just have a good prompt, kind of like knowledge base of files about you, and get some instructional stuff about how to actually write good video ads, and then give it a good core prompt. And then you just talk your way through it, which I find is a really nice way to do this. So the only thing we could add to this is, like, once we have this script, we could throw in a doc. We could actually do the storyboarding. And storyboarding is just deciding what are the parts of the video where we might want to have something else other than, like, what is the visual thing that goes. And so this is really simple. And you could also just ask AI to help you with this. You can just jump in there and be like, hey, can you help me actually storyboard this? But it's just like writing in the doc. You have your script, and then you write there like, okay, this is where we want to cut to this B-roll. This is where we want to have talking head. This is where we want to show the landing page that people are going to go to when they opt in, so they can visually see where they should be opting in. And that's just writing out like actually what you want to see. Because once we have that, the storyboard, and we know like any kind of B-roll, or maybe we want to get like some footage of the landing page, some footage of the offer, anything like that, B-roll of you as an expert, anything like that, we could always insert that in there. And then we can get to like actually generating these clips. So when it comes to generating clips, one tool that I really like right now is Arc Ads. Like it's just pretty sweet, to be honest. So what you can do here is like, I can just come in and take that script that I have. So here I've got that script. I just put it right here into Arc Ads, made a couple little tweaks. It's got this new feature too, like add speech emotions. So it can even like understand the script itself and start to add inflection points and stuff like that, which is super cool. And then we can just come in here and add actors. So they have tons of actors on here. And you could select however many of these you want in order to.
Hey, you, welcome.
Hey. One thing that I have found is like some of these, they will have multiple clips of the same actor. So like, let's look at this guy, Charles, for example. We can see him here, and then he's got a few other ones that also are him in different places. And so one of the things that's cool about that is because we could have the same person talking in different places. So that could make it like an easy way to like actually cut up the video and make it look like someone is kind of moving around, because we could, we'll have some, like, we'll do some different things for the hooks. We could have some different, one place for the hooks, one place for the body, one place for the CTA. And then just like any normal UGC actor would probably move around the house or change settings or anything like that, we can have some of these different actors do that too. But you see, there's a ton of actors here. You can even come in here and like create your own, which is honestly not something that I've been playing with a lot lately, but like, dude, the opportunity to just go to like Nano Banana, create the person that you want to be in your ads, and then come here and then drop that into here so you can just start making your own unique characters, is like super cool. So again, I haven't even gotten into playing with that very much, but like seems like a lot of opportunity. And I think as this continues to grow and develop, like more and more people will be using these kind of more standard, like, the actors that are just already in here all the time. And so if you can start creating your own, I think that's, one of the best things you could do. But again, it's like not super hard to do. So we're just going to pick an actor and then just go ahead and submit this. Just a couple other things I would just throw out there while we're talking about picking actors. I do think one thing that's really important is to think about who it is that you want representing your brand. Like if you are trying to attract as customers, people above 50 who are professionals, like, try to find some people who, some actors here that look like that. You're typically going to attract like a lot of the people who you put in the video. So I do think that's an important thing to think about. Now, while this is going, a couple other places. So now for the actual like hooks, like what we have found is just insane right now is Sora 2 for generating hooks. Like the one that I showed you at the beginning of this video, all the best ads that we have running right now are actually just Sora 2 clips. And what we were doing was using this foul.ai in order to generate Sora clips. You do have to pay for it. It's like a credit-based system. That's what I actually really like about this website is like instead of needing to go subscribe to all of these AI tools, you can just buy, $20 worth of credits on this site and actually use this to generate clips. And this would do Sora 2 without the watermark, so you don't have to worry about like trying to go remove the watermark or something like that. So this is super cool. It is a little pricey, 30 cents per second. So if you're running an 8-second clip, and you do 10 of those, I mean, it's not a ton of money, but, just so you know, it does cost money. But the cool thing is ArcAds recently just added Sora in here. So now you can just run Sora 2 prompts straight from here. I can just go back to my Claude project. I can grab these Sora prompts and I can just drop them in there and generate Sora clips.
Have you used
these Sora clips can be super simple. Like this is a clip. This is the whole prompt. Like a girl getting interviewed on the street. And, let's listen to it.
Have you used your degree since you graduated college?
No, actually. I'm a full-time content creator now.
Have you used your degree since you graduated college?
No, actually.
So, I mean, that was just a fun little one that I just created right now with like this one sentence thing. But like that has worked really well for us. Like some of our best hooks are literally just one sentence of being like, hey, this kind of person being interviewed on the street and someone asks them this question. And Sora comes up with a whole conversation and everything. So that's a super cool one. So we would just start, start running through these. I don't want to run through all these 10 that I just came up with because I don't want to burn through a bunch of the credits that I have. But again, you can see like this is also just coming up with it, right here out the gate. And so this will just come up with it for you. Let's just like see how this Claude did with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this Sora prompt into here so we can see how well this does. And while that's running, a couple other things that we have also used for this whole process. So Nano Banana is just super good for doing anything image stuff. So you can just come here, you're like, Google AI Studio, Nano Banana, and you can pretty much ask for anything and it will do an awesome job of coming up with stuff. So this is really great for any kind of like, I guess not B-roll, but like, I guess like B-roll, like images you want to have in your video, anything like that. Really good there. And then they also have their Veo 3, which in the AI studio. So again, you can just come in here and start prompting for anything. So like, this is really good for B-roll. We've used Sora for B-roll. We've used this for B-roll. Both work really well. I'm just kind of leaning towards Sora right now because I just think their videos are awesome. I just think in like 6 to 12 months, we're just going to be flooded with videos that you can't even tell are AI anymore. Like it's insane. But until we get there, I think Sora 2 is really good. Nano Banana, great mention in terms of like how to create image stuff. Also Veo 3, really good for like B-roll or anything like that. And so just with that, kind of like following along this process, like we found some winning ads that inspired us. We did the thoughtful process of coming up with our ad hypothesis, in terms of like, who are we talking to? Pain points and desires, stage of awareness. So we really we're being clear on that. We're not just asking AI to just regurgitate video ads for us. Then we used Claude to actually help script and storyboard these ads, come up with hook ideas, all that stuff. So what we're coming up with is some modular ads in terms of like, we've got different hooks we can test. We've got a body copy written off of like modeling something that we see working in the market. When I say different CTAs here, it's really just like, something we can test is like, how do we want to close out the ad? Do we want to, like, what is the urgency or reason we want to get people to move forward? Do we want to have more of a curiosity click and like, hey, click, the link below shows you how to, get this desired outcome you want? Or really explaining like, often works really well is like, hey, if you click on the link below, you go to a landing page, all you have to do, enter your name and email, and we'll actually send you a free video that's going to show you how to do X, Y, Z, or you can sign up for this training or whatever. So it is really helpful to like think about testing those. And when you find a winning ad, you can test different CTAs to see what works. But I would typically tend to start with a bunch of hooks, one body, one CTA to start, and then you can start testing some other ones once you find stuff that's working. Okay, so now we're here to this last part where we actually just need to edit the video. And this is pretty simple. I like to use CapCut. We also use Descript a lot, especially like if we just have, we use Descript a lot as well, but I personally just have CapCut on my computer. I really like using it. So all I'm going to do is really look at like, okay, is there anywhere where there are like some gaps? Sometimes AI has these really like long pauses in between these like words. And so there will be like some awkward pauses. So I'll go through and like look for those, clean any of those up. I will also like throw some transitions in between clips. Maybe do a little bit of like zoom in, zoom out, some really light like keyframes or something so it makes it look like it's moving a bit. And if I was really like trying to go hard on this, I'd send this to a video editor and have them put like actual B-roll and stuff too. But I'm in a couple minutes here, I'm just going to show you exactly how I do all this, and then I'll throw some captions in at the end. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll get this video and show you how it looks. So one thing we do want to be aware of anytime we're doing anything with like captions or B-roll or anything like that, make sure we like respect the safe zone. So this is just like something I have on my desktop to like, okay, cool. Just remind us like, okay, what is the safe zone? Where should the captions actually go so that, you know, you respect the safe zone on Reels and stuff. If you don't know what this is, like this is basically Meta's rules for like where you should put anything important in the video, because the top and the bottom might get cut off, but the safe zone is going to be respected in the middle. So, you know, put the captions in the middle. Again, if this was like an actual video ad we're going to spend a bunch of money on, I would send this to a video editor, would get some B-roll, maybe a little sound effects, I don't know, some music, but like, let's just look at how easily this video came out in the whatever it was 15 minutes it took us to make this right now.
So do you make a lot of videos for your ad campaigns?
No, I actually hate getting on video. Interviews like this are okay, but when it comes to video ads, I just freeze up every time.
Video ads are hands down the best way to attract high-ticket clients online. They outperform static image ads by 3 times or more. If you're selling coaching, consulting, or any high-ticket offer and you're not running video ads, you're leaving serious money on the table. Here's the secret most people miss. You don't need to be on camera to create video ads that book sales calls. AI tools can now create scroll-stopping video ads for you in a fraction of the time, and they convert just as well, sometimes even better. Most people think if they're not willing to get on camera, they're stuck running image ads that don't perform as well. Or they think AI videos look cheap and robotic and won't work for high-ticket offers. But that's only true if you don't know how to use the tools the right way. There's a free YouTube video that breaks down the exact process for creating AI video ads that land high-ticket clients. It shows you which tools to use, how to write the prompts, and the exact framework that's working right now. If you want to start running high-converting video ads without ever getting on camera, click the link below and watch it now.
Okay, so that was it. Like that was the whole video. And again, we just made this in like 15 minutes, putting minimal effort into actually doing this. Of course, if we could spend an afternoon or a couple of days coming up with a few video ads, and we got a really good video editor, if you're a really good video editor, or just like, again, just hire a really good video editor online, you can come up with some really good looking stuff. And again, some of the little tips is like, just, you know, if some of these AIs look really good, obviously the mouth isn't quite there. It's like not quite there yet. I think in like 6-12 months, we're going to be mind blown at where we can get to with this. But you can always put like some B-roll, just anything you can do to kind of like, you know, move it around a little bit, just like you would any other video ad. And like these things can become quite engaging. So how we actually test these things, we still use a pretty standard setup of like, so we do one CBO campaign. If we're just starting and we don't know what's the winning audience, we'll do 3 ad sets for 3 different audiences, like an interest stack, a lookalike stack, and a broad stack. CBO, minimum ad budgets, and then we will just stack all the videos in there. So we have our different hypotheses. Let's say we have 2 or 3 different hypotheses. Depending on the number of hooks and stuff we have, we might have, you know, anywhere from like 7, 15, 18 ads. We'll just throw them all in the same ad set and let Facebook kind of decide at the very beginning what's going to work best. Of course, as we start to optimize and as we see, you know, hey, Facebook's posting a lot of budget towards one ad or like one particular ad, we want to get a test on the other one. We might launch some new ad sets that just have the ones we want to test, don't have the one that's getting favored for most of the budget. There's always the evolution of the campaign, but in the very beginning, it's, you know, we've been keeping it pretty simple, especially with Andromeda these days, of like trying to figure out, okay, here's our best guesses. Facebook, you tell us what is our ad hypothesis and our hook that is working best. And then we figure out the audience and then we evolve from there. If you follow this whole process, you now have used AI to help you come up with winning scripts. You've used AI to actually come up with the talking heads, to come up with, you could do B-roll, you can use Sora for hooks. Again, Sora for hooks is just amazing right now. All of that stuff. And then you can actually launch your ads. And we actually just went over the actual structure that we used to do that. So like you're already collecting data and you've got video ads out there promoting your offer, driving people into your funnel, and then using that to, start to collect leads and convert people into becoming clients. Now, the thing that we do next is just like keep an eye on the data, look at what's working, and then when we find a winning ad, what we can do is we can test new hooks. We can also test like a different visual style, which is super easy with the ARC ads because we can just take that script and we can just go find like a different actor to do it. So maybe it worked really well with one actor. Can we just try that same video script with a different actor? And so we can keep that winning message, but come up with different ways to make it look. And then, maybe if it does really good, you could actually film it yourself and like see if you can make that ad work even better by having an actual person do it. So That's it. But like, hopefully you found this really helpful and like a real deep process on how you could actually go about creating these ads. Again, I think the important thing here is like just follow the process. You don't want to invent anything from scratch. So we want to go out and like swipe and look at winning ads that have been running for a while and see what is the winning framework. But we don't want to just drop that ad into an AI and say like, hey, write me this ad for my brand. Cause it's just, it's like, it's just going to come up with some garbage. So we do want to be the creative thinking and thinking really about like, what is our ad hypothesis? Cause this is what's going to give us the feedback of like, okay, we had a really clear hypothesis. We got 2 or 3 of them. We tested them against each other and we got some clear ideas of what's working and what's not. And so we know what to do better going forward. But then you saw how we just like discussed with Claude and like a trained Claude project to come up with the scripts and actually come up with the visuals and all of that stuff. We used ArcAds and Sora to generate all of those clips. Again, like ArcAds now can do pretty much everything. It did an awesome job with this. Foul AI is one that we've also used to like generate clips. Again, you do have to pay for this one on a credit basis. But that one was really good because we didn't need to get like a subscription. You can see all the different ones they have in here. Nano Banana also is really good for stuff. If you want to do Veo 3 for like some B-roll or anything like that, also a really good one. And then just editing it in like a CapCut or a Descript and just like, taking out any weird pauses or anything like that. Descript does that super easy. CapCut also really easy to just look at the audio bar there. And then like, again, if you, get a bit to a video editor, have them actually put like some transitions, some captions, all of that stuff, but like pretty standard, straightforward. And if you walk through this whole process with me, you have, if you did 2 of these, and just with 1 CTA at each one, you already have 6 video ads worth testing. Hopefully you found this as like a really effective way that you can actually just go out and make video ads. Again, like I've just seen over and over again, if we can get a winning video ad, it just outperforms any other type of ad that we typically ever create. Definitely more than like image or carousel. It is just a little bit more work, but because of AI, has just gotten so much easier. So if you have any other tools that you are using to create these kinds of AI video ads or like anything else that's working really well for you, please just drop it down in the comments below because I'd really love to check it out. I mean, again, I do this stuff all day. I'm like a avid AIer at this point, just doing AI with everything. So I'd love to see what else is out there. If you want my help doing all this, like if you want me to just actually come in, show you how to build these ads, maybe build some of these ads for you, anything like that, check out the link down in the first description below. You can book a call with me and my team. We can see how we can help you. Other than that, that's it for this video. So if you do want to see exactly how we're structuring campaigns post Andromeda and how we're coming up with all of this, like managing this whole new Andromeda update, be sure to check out this video that's popping up right over here. Other than that, I hope you have a great day out there and I hope to catch you in another video soon.